Welcome, everyone, to In Other Worlds, the LitRPG, Gamelit, and Fantasy podcast. I am your host, Jess, and today we have RinoZ. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm not doing too bad. Not doing too
Lovely.
bad. A little tired, but I'm good. So you currently have 2 series out. You have Chrysalis, and then you have The Book of the Dead.
That's right, yeah.
I try to keep it fairly spoiler light, so we probably will only talk about the goings on in book 1. That way we don't give away too much for people who have not read farther along in the series.
No, I'm ready. I can lay it all out on the line. Yeah.
I will ask a few questions though that might be a little spoiler light, so we'll see. We'll start with Chrysalis, since that is the series that you are farther along in. Give us kind of a basic overview of Chrysalis.
So for those familiar with the terminology, Chrysalis is an isekai series where the main character is reborn as a monster rather than a human. So something along the lines of, so I was reincarnated as a spider, so I'm a spider, so what? Or I was reincarnated as a slime. Something along those lines. So in my character's case, Anthony is reborn as a monstrous ant.
I love the
and he's
pun.
extremely impressed. He eventually finds his colony, meets up with his people, his new people, and shenanigans ensue.
And so how did you come up with the idea for this book? Like, why ants?
There's a couple of interesting reasons why. There was a confluence of a few ideas at the same time. I really liked Summer Spider So What. It's a great little series. Anime on Netflix, check it out. But my favorite part by far was like the early part where it was just the main character as a spider running around and doing crazy stuff in the dungeon. And eventually they evolve into a humanoid form and the story sort of goes above ground. And I was like, well, what if you had a series which was just all the first bit, which was just all the monster character running around doing crazy things, below ground. But I thought to myself, well, if you were going to do that, what kind of monster would be appropriate? They would need someone to hang out with, right? You need other characters.
Yeah.
You need someone for them to interact with. It can't just be them by themselves for the entire time.
It gets very lonely doing that.
It'd be very boring. I woke up, I hunted, I ate some stuff, I went back to sleep.
Yeah.
Repeat 1,000 times. So I thought a social insect would be great. And I knew a bit about ants, so it was not hard to make that call.
Did you have any difficulty writing from like an ant's perspective? Because it's just so vastly different from...
Well, I mean, he's a human in an ant body. But
yeah.
It would just totally ignore the horror implied in that situation. It does not come up in the series at all. This is a light and fun series. Anthony spends about 5 minutes feeling upset that he's now an ant, and then he just moves on with life.
Yeah, well, and it is a very light series, but the first little bit of it is pretty dark because he wakes up and another ant is getting eaten.
I didn't want him to be reborn in the nest. I wanted that to have that like survival on your own moment, so he would be able to learn about the world on his own.
Yeah.
Or at least approach it on his own without the complexity of having to worry about the colony. So I essentially set it up so that his egg was like stolen out of the nest, which is a common thing that happens in nature. Ant eggs, apparently delicious. I don't know. Ants raid each other all the time.
From other ants? I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
You already had like a good knowledge on ants, or did you have to do a ton of research?
I had a pretty good knowledge already because of weird brain things that you do when you go down various rabbit holes. I just think they're interesting.
They are pretty interesting. He's not normal ant, like normal Earth ant size.
Oh, no.
He's like the size of a small dog, isn't he?
Yeah, he's basically, he's a bit larger than a terrier, I would say. He's maybe like a border collie.
That's pretty big.
They're pretty big, right? He's about knee high. He's about knee high.
Yeah. And so I think at this somewhere near the beginning of the book, he tries to leave the cave that he has woken up in, and people freak out. And that doesn't last very long. He hightails it
No.
back inside.
So yeah, he's in a globe spanning dungeon. So it's the entire planet is a dungeon, and he's in the very very top layer.
So I did not realize that it spanned the entire planet. That's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
massive.
So it's the whole way around and all the way to the middle.
Ooh, that's that's big. And
Yeah.
so in
So he
the series, you talk about how the deeper down in the dungeon, in the different levels of the dungeon they go, the larger and stronger the monsters get. Is there like a cap on how big the monsters and the ants, like, is there a cap on how big Anthony can get?
not really. I mean, one of the if you look at the cover of the book, the cover for book 8 has sort of a very large version of Anthony on it. He's I don't know, he's like 10 meters, 15 meters tall.
That's giant.
He's big, man. Like, because that was the other thing. That was the other thing that I really didn't like about a lot of those Easter series that I was reading. Is like the ultimate purpose of evolving as a monster was basically to become more and more human. And I think I was reincarnated as a slime is especially guilty for this. Every time a monster evolves, they just become a sexier version of a person. I,
You didn't want to do a sexy ant?
no, who? I don't understand who wants that. People out there who want that, no, this is not your series.
Um,
Every time he evolves, he
there's,
gets bigger and more monstrous.
there's something for everyone, really.
Yes. Well, this didn't seem to exist. There didn't seem to be a series where the monster main character just became a bigger and badder monster. And I was very adamant that was going to be, because I got asked a lot when I started, is he ever going to evolve into a human? No, no, never. Absolutely not. He will
I
be a
like that he
kaiju by the
didn't.
end of the series.
Yeah, I like that he didn't. And each of the upgrades that he got did make him kind of more and more monstrous. You know, it was
Mhm.
his carapace and his pincers and his legs and his antenna.
His mandibles, thank you very
I
much.
I don't know enough about ants.
Pincers, come on now.
It's, it's little things. Um,
The face hands.
yeah, the face hands. There we go. But I just like that they kept getting bigger and stronger and just more monstrous. There was no, he's like a cute, cuddly
Mm-mm.
thing or more
No,
human like.
this might
You
sound
leaned into the
horrifying.
monster.
This may sound all scary and stuff to the listener. This is a comedy series.
It is. It is
This is a
full
comedy.
of it is full of ant puns, which I absolutely adored.
Oh, they never end.
I mean, it's in the name, Anthony.
Hmm.
Fantastic. Did you pick the name because it started with ant?
Oh yeah, definitely. Actually, I remember when I was
Fantastic.
like in the early stages. I remember sending a message to a friend, being like, "Do you reckon I can get away with calling the main character Anthony?" And they're like, "Yeah, go
100%.
for it, man.
100%.
Just lean into it."
And so because they get larger at the deeper they go down in the dungeon, why, if the dungeon is the entire planet, there are like surges and there is a concern from the people living on the surface that the ants will come up and just kind of overrun everything.
Mm.
Why would they ever go to the surface if the dungeon is just so large?
Well, I mean, this is the difference between Anthony's family and his colony and regular monsters. As he is the differentiating factor. So, I mean, normally monstrous ants would be extremely unintelligent, swarming horde monsters, and they would just hunt down food, right? Like
Yeah.
they would go to the surface in order to eat everyone. But he steps in and ensures that doesn't the case. It isn't the case. He makes his colony intelligent. He ensures that they work together with people rather than just consuming everything in their path.
I mean, I would assume that eventually there'd be nothing left to consume,
Well, I
really.
mean, the reason why everyone freaks out when they see Anthony is because ants are typically like very rabid fast developing monster problem that needs to be put down as quickly as possible. So because of his involvement, his colony is a bit more strategic, is a bit more cautious in its approach, and is a bit more agreeable, and works with people and develops its own bizarre ant culture as they go along.
Will they ever run into another ant colony?
So far in the story, they haven't. They've run into a termite colony, the destined enemy of all ants.
But just not another ant colony.
But they haven't run into another ant colony. The ants are good opponents for other ants. They don't get along particularly well in the wild.
No, they do not. I've seen I've heard, well, I've not seen it. I've heard of the people who will like take a shovel and dig up an ant colony and then just go plop it on top of another ant colony. Like, that just sounds mean.
That's horrendous.
Right? Trying to create big wars out of ants. It's just horrible. Anthony is isekai'd into an ant body. And all of the other monsters that we run across in book 1, not very intelligent, except for one other. He does run into one other monster that he can converse with. Do we ever find more isekai'd monsters, or is he the only one?
No, we definitely do. Yeah. Run into 3 others at the current point of the story.
Okay. Do we ever find out why he gets isekai'd?
Yes.
Ooh.
We do. There is a specific selection criteria.
Okay. Which book do we find that out in?
5, I want to say.
Okay. I have not made it that far yet. I have done the first few. So I am excited to
the first
find
3
out why.
is sort of, I think, where the required reading for the story. That's the first arc, right? And it really takes off in the 3rd book. That's when the other ants become intelligent, and he starts having like a family to interact with and teach, and it all just explodes from there.
Yeah. I mean, the queen was fairly intelligent in her own way from the very beginning as well.
Yes, she was. But the rest of them, not so much.
Yeah. She had a good way of communicating. And so the other monsters in this dungeon are incredibly wacky.
Yes.
You do like weird combinations of animals for some of these. What is the craziest monster that you can recall that you've written in the series?
Man, the 5th stratum has some really weird ones. Like various types of snail turtles that are infested with all sorts of parasites. It gets freaky down there.
Do you just have like a wheel that you spin to pick different combinations of animals?
Just have a blind dartboard on the wall.
Yeah.
Not really. I always try to make them somewhat creative and interesting. And I get a lot of suggestions from my Discord every time I'm designing a new stratum. I hit up my Discord for suggestions and ideas, which is very helpful. There's only so much one person can fit in their brain. But yeah, coming up with interesting and dynamic monster concepts is harder than you'd think.
I can imagine, because you want to find something that's going to be interesting and fun. But
yeah, like you can't just slam any 2 things together and have it be a dynamic and interesting challenge.
And so you've said in the past that you were aiming, in its serialized form, you're aiming for about 2,000 chapters.
Yeah,
for the
I said that
series.
many times. I was looking to end it at about 2,000 chapters.
Has that changed?
Oh yeah.
Or is that still the plan?
I'm not going to make it, man. I'm not going to make it.
How many chapters are you at now?
The last chapter on Patreon was 17.99.
And so are you kind of nearing, do you know how you want it to end? Are we like nearing the end of the series?
I've always known how it was going to end. I had a really clear concept of how the story would end, and it's mostly written, to be honest. But I am not close.
So it's going to be more than 2,000 chapters.
It's going to be significantly more than 2,000 chapters. I'm trying to speed it up, but I'm not very good at speeding it up. It's like Book of the Dead was my attempt to write a trilogy, but I knew I'd need 6 books to do it.
I mean, that's not really a trilogy anymore.
Yeah, trilogy. Like, if Douglas Adams can get away with a trilogy in 4, we can stretch it.
A trilogy in 6.
Trilogy in 6 is fine.
Yeah. So book 9 is coming out in July.
Mm.
How many books do you think there will be total?
I think it's going to end up being about 16. Book 9 is coming out in July. There's probably 2 more books of material that's already written. And then I think it's going to probably take 2 or 3 more books to finish it. It's a lot of work. Damn.
That's a hefty series. That's a hefty series. But
yeah.
I'm a fan of long series though. I've got a bunch of them.
I mean, that's one of the things I really liked about reading web serials and web novels was just the long form storytelling. The idea that you didn't really need time skips. You have all of it there.
Going.
The growth, the development, the pain, the struggle. You have it all there on the page. I really liked that. But yeah, when you start turning that into published books, you get long series.
Yeah. I'm not complaining. So what made you decide to go LitRPG with this over just like a standard fantasy?
Well, that's what I was aiming to write from the start, because that's what I was reading, you know what I mean? Like, taking inspiration from things like Summer Spider, So What, and Reincarnated as a Slime, and other series that were being written at the time. It was something that was not a new concept, even in 2017, particularly in the East. Isekai into a game-like world was not a new concept by any stretch of the imagination, even if it's only kind of really taking off in the broader public imagination over here now. So yeah, I was reading a bunch of stories like that, and I was inspired by them. It seemed like a great way to tell a story.
Yeah, I like that it lends itself well to him like upgrading different parts of himself. And
well, that's the other thing. Like, when you do as a monster main character, you get to come at it from a different angle. So, not only does he have skills and skill levels and all that sort of stuff, he also has mutations and body parts that he can manipulate and change and give himself new effects as he upgrades himself. It's an interesting take on the genre, and I thought something that people hadn't really explored. Like, if you have a game-like system as a monster, then you take advantage of that. What sort of cool things can you do?
Yeah,
that you couldn't do as a human. So yeah,
I mean, it's almost limitless, really.
Yeah, he can cover his carapace in diamonds and make himself harder, and mutate his legs and his acid and his mandibles and his eyes and everything.
Yeah, the acid one was fun. That was a fun one.
And then as he goes on, every time he evolves, he can add new organs to himself and new body parts, and he gets some really weird stuff.
He does. He really does.
He gets some really weird stuff.
Yeah, he ends up with, I guess, kind of an animal companion. Like a monster companion, even though he himself is also a monster. That starts off as like a little tiny little guy. How big
does Tiny get?
The monster that originally was very large. How big does he get? Does he get to the normal original monster size?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. When you reconstitute a monster from a core, they sort of begin as like an infant version of what they had been before. So you're talking about the first pet that Anthony gets, which is Tiny, who his species is a lightning fist ape, and he's big. He's a very large boy. He's like
originally he's
4 or
riding
5
around
meter tall gorilla. Like, he's huge.
Yeah. Well, originally he's riding around on Anthony like a dog.
Yeah, but after he gets reconstituted, he's a little baby version of that. So he's just riding around on
Yeah.
the back of of Anthony's
Yeah.
carapace.
Yeah.
But
And
eventually, yeah, he
so,
will regrow to his full size.
and you said that's how tall?
He's, yeah, like 4 meters, 4 meter tall gorilla.
So not quite as big as Anthony
Oh
at
no,
his
no, that's just his
largest.
that's his form then. If you go to current, Tiny has evolved many times since then. He's enormous.
How does he fit into the ant tunnels?
Well, they have to dig special tunnels for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that was kind of an issue almost from the very beginning.
Yeah, because he was bigger
Was
than
he?
everything else.
Yeah, because he just didn't fit.
Yeah, so Anthony, like at this, every time you evolve, you go up a tier. So you start as a tier 1 monster, you evolve to tier 2 to tier 3. So at the current point in the story, Anthony's tier 8, and he is massive. He's huge. And so the colony has to specially prepare tunnels for him to move around in. But generally speaking, the lower you go in the dungeon, the more wide open the space becomes. So he doesn't generally have a problem getting around in the wider dungeon. But when he's in an ant nest, he's in a fortress or an ant hill or something. Yeah, there's most of the places he can't get to, and neither can Tiny.
Yeah, it was that dynamic was very interesting. It was
Yeah,
fun
he gets
to
3
read.
pets in the end.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Are they as fun as Tiny is
They all are, and they're all weird in their own way.
in there?
So the second one he gets is Chrysalis. She's sort of like a shadowy blob creature with like
Okay.
thousands of tentacles that she can like spit out. She is a cutie little ball of murderous death.
I love it. I like that. I like that a lot. Do they also start off as like little babies? Fantastic.
After she gets reconstituted, she's just a little mini blob. And she just splats on Anthony's back and follows him around. And then the third one is Invidia, who's an envy demon.
So would that one look more like your typical kind of succubus?
He is, and he's quite small to start with. He's a little eyeball with 2 spindly little arms that are attached to the side, and he's got little fluttery wings coming off his eyeball. So he's just sort of like jerkily floats and flutters about. But you know how the Cheshire Cat, when it smiles, it's like a mouth kind of appears out of nowhere?
Mm-hmm.
So just imagine underneath Invidia, this giant fanged smile appears in thin air, out of thin air, when he's eating. And if that sounds horrifying, this is a comedy series. This is comedy.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the monsters in any other setting would be terrifying.
Mm.
Absolutely terrifying. But it is a very funny book.
Thank you. Yeah, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be funny.
It is. It is. I mean, the puns do a lot to like alleviate and lighten it up.
Well, there's so much nonsense that happens.
Yes.
Particularly as the colony sort of becomes more intelligent and develops its culture. They just do things that make sense to them as ants and don't make sense to anyone else.
Would you say you're more of a pantser or a plotter? Do you have the whole story plotted out?
Pants, 100%.
Yeah. It just kind of lets it go.
Like, I have an idea, I have a direction, so I know exactly which direction the series is traveling. I know where the destination is. I know exactly how it ends. I know how the world works. I know the motivations of the major players and all that sort of things. So I have a lot that's guiding me. But generally speaking, the plot to plot beats, moment to moment, it's all pantsing. There's no like structure about. I'm still not sitting down and being like, okay, what's the next book going to look like? No,
Right.
I'm just writing chapter to chapter. When I've written roughly 180,000 words or so, I'm like, it's a book. Whereas Book of the Dead is written in books, right? Like, Chrysalis is still just a web serial at heart.
It just gets mashed into a book.
Just gets mashed into a book.
This is a good ending spot for one of the books. We'll just end it right here and move on.
Well, because it was always written as a web serial, there's not really any neatly designed endings, and I feel like it would be almost weird to start introducing them now. Like the first 3 books, that is the first arc. Like it ties up very neatly at the end of book 3. But yeah, after that, not so much.
Yeah. Your other series, Book of the Dead, is on Royal Road right now. Has that been published yet?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, so it is
Okay.
stubbed on Royal Road.
Okay.
Sadly for Royal Road exclusive for readers. But yeah, no, that's published. The first 4 books are out, and book 5 is coming out. Oh, so when we finish editing it, give it a month or so.
And so give us kind of an overview of Book of the Dead.
All right. Well, I can't emphasize this enough. Book of the Dead is not a comedy. It is not funny in
Okay.
any way, shape, or form. My inspiration for Book of the Dead was like the way necromancy is portrayed in most media sucks.
Okay.
Like to me, I don't know why. All right, maybe this is just a weird way my brain works. It's offensively bad the way necromancy is treated. And something like solo leveling is the worst possible example. What, you just say a word? You just say a word.
And that's it.
One word. So no skill, no preparation, no ability or thought or
No
anything
way for it to go
applied.
horribly wrong.
This is just nothing. You speak a word and corpses just jump up off the ground and start moving around, defying the laws of biology and physics.
It does seem too easy.
It seems like a lot of heavy lifting for one word.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
could see that.
so I started this series because I just hated the way that was done. Like, because in my head, like most nerds, I don't know why, necromancy is interesting.
But it is. That's
It's
playing
inherently interesting.
Diablo.
Come on now.
Playing Diablo always with the necromancer every time.
100%.
Every time.
100%. You go to Zookeeper Necro. What do
Yeah.
you mean?
Yeah.
There's other classes in Diablo too. I've never seen them. I wanted to be like, okay, well, if I was going to create my own necromancy system, what would it look like? And it was a lot of fun. So this is not an isekai. The main character, Tyron, he's born on this world. It has already, like a game-like element, a game-like system in place. They refer to it as the unseen. In order to see their status, they have to cut their thumb and press their thumb onto a page and then do a little ritual, and then their blood will form into their status sheet.
Oh.
Because I really don't like the idea of just having like screens appearing out of nowhere. Like in Chrysalis, it's never really explained how Anthony's manipulating the system. Like, is he seeing a thing? Is it just in his head? It's never really explained.
Yeah.
But in Book of the Dead, it's explicit. Like they have to perform this status ritual in order to see this, in order to see their status, and in order to level up. And the necromancy is incredibly involved. So if he wants to make a skeleton, he needs to find a corpse. He needs to like literally butcher it himself, get the knives out, cut all the meat off. Remove all the offal. The bones need to be as clean as they could possibly get. And then, like, how does a skeleton move? Right? How does it move? There's no muscle. There's no tissues. How does it move? Okay, well,
I would assume like very just kind of janky and like almost marionette like.
Well, via what mechanism, right? Like we use our muscles to move. A skeleton.
I mean, magic, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Magic
right?
would be the cop-out answer.
Skeleton has no muscles by definition. So how is it moving? He has to literally create a magical weave and apply it to the skeleton, and then it draws on his power to move. So he has to like weave the muscles, he has to weave the sinew onto the skeleton. And then like once that process is done, he has to cast a ritual. He has to create like an artificial, very simplistic artificial mind to pilot the skeleton. Because in the early days, he can't manipulate souls, like in book 1. And he has to go through this whole process, and he gets one skeleton.
No more, like no upgrading to get more?
Well, I mean, he can make more, right? But he has to do it for every corpse he finds.
Oh,
every skeleton he wants to raise, he needs to go through this process.
Wow.
And
that is way more. Yeah, that is way more intense than any other necromancy that I've seen in any other story.
Like one word? Nah, man, absolutely not. And
That's
the raise dead ritual lasts like an hour as well.
wow.
So it's
Yeah.
very involved. It's, obviously there's a story going on. It's a story of vengeance. The necromancer class is illegal. He doesn't want to give it up. His parents are like very powerful and famous slayers who kill monsters in his world, which
And they
is
have a
which is under
monster for a kid.
which is under siege by monsters. Attacking them from other worlds. So his parents are basically heroes. He wants to be like them. He wants to succeed. He's terrified that if he gives up the class that he was given when then he'll never rise to that kind of height. So his original ambition is to like run away from the law, to try and develop himself, and then prove that he can be a useful, productive citizen with his necromancer class. And then it all goes downhill from him. It all goes downhill for him from there.
And he's given that class. He doesn't choose that class.
No, he doesn't choose it. So in this world, they have an awakening day on their 18th birthday, and he is given the necromancer class.
Why is someone given an illegal class?
That's a very good question. There might be plot implications behind a question like that.
Ooh. Okay. Because you would think if they're just assigning classes to people, whatever system or the higher power is assigning classes to people, why give someone an illegal class?
That's a good and valid question. There's a chance that kind of idea might get explored. I don't know, somewhere in book 2.
Very interesting.
Mm.
And so this is going to have 6 books, your 6-book trilogy. You know how you want this one to end as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm writing the last book now, so I'm in the process of writing book 6.
Fantastic.
I was kind of worried I might need to stretch it out to 7 books.
7-book trilogy.
But I think as long as I might be able to squeeze it in, I'll finish it in book 6. It's going to be a long book, but I'll get there.
So how many are out and available right now?
4 books. 4 books are out and available as we speak. Audiobooks done by the fantastic Phil Thron. And book 5 coming soon, we hope. Like the cover is done, everything's ready to go. We just got to finish editing the manuscript.
See, now I know as soon as we get off of this call, I'm going to be going and ordering all 4 books. Because I just have to find out. I just need to know.
When you start reading from the perspective of the character Dove, I'm sorry.
Who is Dove?
He's a real pain in the ass.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
He's the most divisive character I've written. Some people love him, for being a foul-mouthed idiot who annoys everybody, and some people hate him for being a foul-mouthed idiot who annoys everybody.
Those are usually the very divisive characters. Yeah, you either absolutely love them or you absolutely hate them. There is usually no in between on that one. Final question. If you could wake up in any fictional world tomorrow, which one would you pick? And do you think you would last longer than 1 day?
Okay, I definitely wouldn't pick Chrysalis.
Probably very, very valid option.
I think the average lifespan of a monster in Chrysalis is like 5 minutes.
They don't last very long.
They don't last very long, right? It's a comedy series. I definitely wouldn't pick Book of the Dead. That is not a comedy series. No way I'm lasting in there. Jeez. Any fictional world, there's so many to choose from. Dungeon Crawler Carl, obviously not. I would be inside when the collapse happened. Who goes outside? He Who Fights with Monsters, maybe not a bad pick. You know what? Heretical Fishing, safe.
That would be that's a good one.
That's not a bad pick. That's not a bad pick.
And you'd definitely last longer than a day in Heretical Fishing.
You'd 100% last longer than a day. Yeah, nice, comfy, cozy story.
Yeah.
You get to eat delicious fish. Okay, I'm down
and
with
be
this.
a heretic.
Well, yeah, and be called a heretic for it. I think that's fine. That's manageable.
Oh, 100%.
Man, I'm trying
Yes.
to think if there'd be any other likely suspects. Let's go Warhammer 40k. Yeah, that's safe.
Okay. I had someone say Pokemon recently.
I don't know if I could live
They were
exploiting.
like, free healthcare, and I was like, I think the free healthcare is for the Pokemon, not necessarily the people.
I don't know if I could live with myself if I made all my money exclusively from beating up children and making them cry.
I could. I
could see-
already do that.
That's right. That's always what we do now. Exploit the youth. I would go heretical fishing. He who fights with monsters might also be okay.
I don't know if I would survive more than a day in that one. I mean, maybe. But if you're like just not being born in the world and living there, but like just waking up randomly, who fights with
No,
monsters?
you're right.
I
That
don't
would be
think I
pretty
would.
rough.
I don't think I would survive. But heretical fishing, that's a good choice. That's solid.
You gotta find a nice cozy series.
Yeah.
So you want to isekai
Yeah.
me? Okay, well, take me to the cozy genre. That's where I'm headed.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, imagine being isekai'd into it. Imagine being isekai'd into solo leveling. Even if you survive, the entire point of your existence is to stand around so the main character has somebody to aura farm off.
Yeah. No, thank you. That's
No,
boring.
I'm going fishing.
I like it. I like that answer. It's a good one.
What's your answer, by the way? Have you given one?
I have not. And it's so tough.
Oh, it's very difficult. You can't steal mine, by the way.
I know, and that's such a good one. I should have thought of this to begin with. And I'm trying to look at like what I have around me. Definitely not Baldur's Gate or Elder Scrolls.
No.
Maybe.
A lot of people are like, "Oh, D&D, that'd be amazing." Yeah, man, D&D world, the D&D
No.
world is terrifying. Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
that'd be so bad. I would probably also have to go with something cozy. Maybe the World of Adria by S.L. Rowland. His like Chrysalis cocktails. Something nice and cozy. Open up a tavern. Maybe open up a bookstore.
You could maybe the world that Cinnamon Bun is set in.
Yeah, definitely not Dungeon Crawler Carl though.
Oh,
I also
hell
would have.
no.
I also would have died because I would have been in bed asleep. It was at like 2:00 in the morning.
Regardless of the time of day, man, I would have been at home on my computer working or
Yeah,
reading.
I do spend 95% of my time indoors.
Like the odds of you catching me on like the walk from my door to the car to go to the supermarket are very slim. There's no way I make it into the dungeon. Absolutely not.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, no, there's no way. So where can people find you?
I don't really have much of a social media presence. So you can find my story. You can find Chrysalis on webnovel.com or royalroad.com, but obviously those are stubbed. So if you want to start the series from the beginning, you'll need to go to Amazon. If you want to support the series and get advanced chapters, you could sign up to patreon.com/RinoZ. You can find all the stories on Amazon and Audible, all the published books. So there are 8 books of Chrysalis up there at the moment. There's 4 books of Book of the Dead up there at the moment. You can get the first 3 books of Chrysalis for a single Audible credit. They're in a bundle deal, so that's like almost 60 hours of Jeff Hayes sound booth narration.
That's
for
a lot.
1 credit. I challenge you to beat that value.
You'll be hard pressed to.
Yeah,
You'll be
it's
hard
just not going to
pressed.
happen. Also, Annie Ellicott, of course, doing the voice, the female voices. She's incredible.
Fantastic.
Because all
She
the
is.
ants are
They both
female.
are. Yeah.
All the ants are female. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to talk to me personally, just join my Discord. There'll be a link out there somewhere.
Fantastic. I will link in the description of the video to your Amazon and your Patreon. So that'll be easy for people to find. And then
I'll send you a link for the Discord as well. That'll take care of that problem.
Perfect. Yeah, I will add the Discord as well.
Thank you very much.
That is everything that I had for you. Thank you so much for taking the time out to come and talk to me. Everyone else, thank you for sticking around and keep leveling up.